Hi everybody, this is Anthony O'Flynn coming to you live from the Sunshine Coast. It's a pretty relaxing Sunday afternoon here. After what's been a absolutely incredible 24 hours in what will be regarded as the biggest protest march in the history of Australia ever to date. And I am supremely confident that these marches will continue to dramatically increase in size and also of conviction of the participants as we head into 2022. I'm not involved in any of the organisation of the marches at all, but I doubt that there'll be another one before Christmas. Maybe there will be, but it'll be more difficult to get the numbers there with the whole hysteria around Christmas and Christmas shopping and everything. But congratulations to every single person in Australia who participated yesterday. It was absolutely incredible, and I was in Brisbane and the numbers of people there was absolutely amazing, and it was testimony to the number of people who have drawn a line in the sand and said enough is enough with this insanity. And it really made, at least for me realise, and I'm assuming the people who are there, just how many people now have woken up to this scam. How many people, regardless of whatever medical choices they're making, are aware that this entire scam is based on the smokescreen of health. And the official narrative is, it really is coming apart at the seams now, and we're only going to see that intensify heading into next year. I guess there's around 6-7 weeks left of this year. In my view, the collective, I need to meditate on this more, but in my view in Australia now, the collective has reached another milestone of critical mass, which has catalysed into the physical world. So that means that it's going beyond the keyboard warrior sort of energy, and now people are looking forward to the next level of this dismantling of this tyrannical system, that it goes way beyond the government. It's the medical system, financial system, justice system, income tax system. It's everything. Education system, belief system around spirituality. It pervades by design every aspect of our life, by design. And it's been an incredible case study in the power of indoctrination and mind control and hypnosis, collective waking hypnosis, to see just how incredibly powerful those methods, primarily through the mainstream media, of indoctrination actually are. That people are literally conditioned to assume a set of values, belief systems, opinions, viewpoints that are 100% completely inverted from the truth. So, and yet at the same time, for a certain percentage of the population, none of this has ever worked. None of this has had any impact on their viewpoints, values, beliefs at all. And then another percentage of the population, it is now starting to fail. And for the elite, that is the most worrying aspect of the entire operation that they are executing, is because they knew in their modelling that there'd be a certain percentage of people that would never believe and fall for this insanity. And they knew that. But what they could never really predict is the percentage of people who would initially perhaps believe in everything, and then it would serve to dissipate, or this hypnosis would gradually fail. And that's what we're seeing now. And then the third phase of this, or the third stage, is what will happen when the hypnosis fails. And that's really the exciting part we're getting to now. And that's the effects at a causal level that we're seeing yesterday throughout Australia, throughout the world actually. And this is a real, hope you guys can hear me actually. Can you hear me? Yeah, hopefully, yeah. So this is where we're at now on this path of the global awakening, which, by the way, this is only just the beginning. Any idea of this coming to a conclusion and so on? This is the entry level phase of the awakening now, is dismantling this tyrannical governments around the world that are, co-opted with their secret societies and all this methods of covert control. And these guys are under pressure now, and they would have expected this, but the thing they can't calculate is the extent of the pressure, and then how that pressure would manifest in people's actions and responses to the tyranny. And the key thing really here, I'm just in Cotton Tree, and it's late afternoon. The key thing here is that, at least in Australia, there's a lot of problems around the world in Western Europe. They're now trying to mandate this magic potion in Austria. I don't know the specific details yet, but I've heard from someone in Austria just yesterday, last night, that that's what's happening. So I've mentioned this before, but I do think that at times lately, particularly with the oppression in Melbourne, that we have incorrectly evaluated that things are much worse in Australia than in other countries. Perhaps at some levels, yes, but at some levels, no. The real key question here in Australia is the time frame that we have now to mobilise politically, and how this dissipating collective hypnosis will translate into the political arena. Now, in regard to this point, this will depend on two major issues. The first one is how the people, the collective, can get organised in this short time frame to at least perhaps create a hung parliament in the House of Representatives at the federal level. So this election will be in May next year at the latest. At the moment it's looking like it could be March, April. Let's see. So how can the collective make a coordinated effort to disrupt the coalition? And the coalition is the ALP, the LNP. They are the best coalition in Australia. And how these two wings of the same bird can be genuinely challenged, and also these corrupt politicians that just don't represent the people. Will there be enough people who will vote for a suitable candidate in the House of Representatives and obviously the Senate to disrupt this status quo? Now, for me, in my view of the shift of the bigger picture, this is inevitable. The question here is, at least in Australia, will this occur in this election cycle or will it occur in the next one? So I think the answer to that will be that it will occur in both. It won't only be this election cycle. because there's still a lot more information to come out and a lot more revelations and realizations around the control methods that have been used to enslave humanity covertly during this epoch. So I'm confident that we are in that window now. That's the contention of my book, the Global Awakening 2020 to 2040. The specifics of it, though, are variable, which is the beauty of it, because this shows our own free will and how we're contributing to the shift. But at the same time, it appears that there are emerging serious candidates and possibilities that will help to destabilise the status quo of the LNP-ALP coalition. And I'll speak more about that in another video, because I want to offer more in-depth views on that. And the second point, which is perhaps even more important, is will enough people in Australia work out how the preferential voting system works, and to understand that it's not just who you vote for at the federal election, but who you vote against. And I've already seen a lot of people spreading misinformation in the awakening community who don't understand how the political system, the voting system works. In the House of Representatives, it's not a matter of not voting for the Labor Party or the Liberal Party. In the federal election, you must number every box for the House of Representatives. That is so important. If you just think, oh, I'm not even going to vote for Liberal Party, then your vote will be invalid. It won't count at all. You must number every box, but you must number them at the bottom if you want to vote against the two major parties, including the Greens, if you count them as a major party. So every box must be numbered in the House of Reps. If you don't number every box, your vote will be invalid. I'll be making another video of this. So the 2 points are, will people in Australia understand how the preferential voting system works properly? And will there be time to mobilise suitable candidates with the parties and so on to offer a genuine alternative? And will the electorate regard these alternative candidates as suitable for government? Which is obviously yet to be determined. However, in my view now, it's becoming apparent, and this I think at least will show up in next year for sure, that the elite have now missed their window of opportunity. I think that there's too many people awake in Australia now. I don't think that these mandates will actually sustain will be successful. Now, as I've said before, I think that the real concern is the collateral damage that we sustain as a nation, economically, financially, all the other issues around mental health and all the things that are showing up with this generated scam. But we will come through it, I'm supremely confident, and I'm supremely confident that we will be able to counter now the moves of the elite. Although there will be ongoing, sustained collateral damage, I think they've missed their window. I think there's too many people that realise what's going on now, even if people have made medical choices that they've been coerced to, or they're going along with the mandates but they don't agree with it. I don't think that they can really expect a lot of success. I am completely convinced that this whole agenda is actually going to fail spectacularly, and in the process it's going to completely destabilise the control systems. Everything from the mainstream media to the medical mafia to the judicial system to the education system, everything is going to be on the table for radical change and radical transformation as we move through this decade. I do think that the next 2 to 3 years are going to be particularly difficult, because these guys will never give up, because the people who are the puppet masters, they're fairly insulated from the whole process of being held accountable for the diabolical agenda that's unfolding. However, it is likely that many of the pawns in this game, and by that I mean the premiers, the politicians and so on, they may be held accountable in pretty serious ways to come moving forward. Not obviously this year, but in the time frame of the rest of the decade. This is the critical time frame. because this thing is going to go on for, years and years and years. The aftermath, the wash up from this, even if all this insanity ended tomorrow, this is really only just beginning to be exposed, and we have no idea yet as to the long-term health effects of the magic potion, as to what it's really going to do. There's a lot of speculation by some credible doctors as to the severity and the possible fatalities due to this, but at this stage we're still in the real beginning to really look into working out where this is really going. So yesterday, incredible effort by the people of Australia. It's been a long time coming. I have said all along that it will take some time for people to realise what's going on here, what's happening, and I do think that it will take some more time for more people to actually work out what's going on as well. So things are about to get exciting at this level, but the elite will still maintain the pressure with what they're trying to do. And as I said before, particularly because the people who are orchestrating this, they're fairly insulated. So the outcome for them, I mean, it's unlikely in some ways that they'll be held accountable as we perhaps like, but at the same time, their systems and methods will be exposed. And for example, I see a lot of people getting very frustrated with the mainstream media that they don't accurately portray the numbers of people who are attending these marches in all the cities. And personally, I don't even have a problem with that. They're fake news. They're not credible. It's just a corporate state-owned media, and you're never going to get the truth from those organisations ever. So why bother even focusing your attention on them or trying to hold them accountable, because that's not what their intention is right from the outset. The actual more constructive way, and what's already occurring now, is to create our own systems of media and so on. And really that's just a flow of information. And this is what's happening now on the internet more and more, and as the main tool for that. Who knows whether they'll try to introduce some form of internet censorship or something. I mean, the censorship is everywhere in social media. But, my view in this is basically allow the mainstream media to do what they do, because they're only falling on their own sword every time they give these ridiculously low numbers for the marches. That's not even close to the accurate number of people attending these events. They only lose more and more credibility. They only serve to basically destroy their own credibility, and in the consequence is more and more people turn away from looking at them as a credible source of information. So they're actually supporting the awakening. I mean, this entire scam that's unfolded since last year is the most incredible service to the divine that could have ever have happened, because people are being forced out of their slumber, their inert sort of lava type consciousness, and now are being confronted with the reality that they're living in a completely systemic collapse of all these institutions and organisations that we have looked at as being respectable and credible and even necessary for the functioning of the society. So because of this tyranny, it's actually, the effect it's producing is a complete dismantling at a systemic level of all these institutions. The mainstream media is basically, it's in permanent decline, it's in systemic decline. And from those, that vacuum, there will be an opportunity for a new media that is economically viable, that isn't just people who are, wanting to be of service, making videos, articles, all these things, and never earning an income. Eventually there will be a transfer of advertising revenue and support from donations and all these other avenues to make things financially viable. That will come. That's part of the new paradigm. It's inevitable. And so in many ways, the mainstream media, who has been one of the key aspects of creating this collective hypnosis, keep doing what you're doing, guys, because no one's going to be watching you eventually, because no one's going to believe anything you ever say, and there's already someone a lot of people that already have that view all over the world, all over Australia. So yesterday was a huge turning point for the collective here, and a real show of solidarity in the people. Now we need to move on to solutions, becoming politically organised. And as I've said, and I'll continue to speak in more depth on this topic, not just at the spiritual level, but the three pillars of this transfer of power is to accumulate political, economic and social power. These are the three pillars of control that are foisted on humanity at the moment. And as we gradually become more conscious, more aware, we can transfer that power to sustainable systems for the new paradigm, and that we can basically start to create this new paradigm that perhaps coexists with the old paradigm for a period of time. That's looking likely at the moment, but it's really in the process. We're in this transition point now. My book is basically going to be available for print to be printed. I've just lodged the details now, so it could be available tonight or tomorrow. I'll put a post when that's there. That name of the book is Paradigm Shift: The Global Awakening of Humanity 2020 to 2040. There's a lot in it. There's a lot to take in, and really going to help people with their mindset, set their spiritual compass in the right direction for what's coming. Because just because we've had one big day of activism in Australia, we're far, far, far from creating the solutions that are necessary to rid ourselves of this tyranny. But it now shows that what's crystallised is a certain form of consciousness is now stabilised in the people of Australia, and there is a unity in that, and there is a power in that, and this will be a strong basis to go forward, to start to accumulate political, economic and social power. The activism is just in this way a blunt tool, but it gives the message to the politicians that their days of just doing what they want with their fake news and their fake press releases and their sterile, controlled media environments, it's coming undone. It's coming undone, and it will only continue to. And it's an exciting time to be here. So thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a great day, huge day yesterday. A lot of people also, I sense, was a feeling of relief that we are starting to get some momentum in this whole thing, and it's an exciting time to be here. So thanks for watching. We live in epic times.